If you're looking for Italian cuisine in Melbourne, then Carlton is a place to go. Carlton is the heart and soul of Italian culture. I found a great little spot on Drummond Street called Masani. Now it's the cream of the crop. Come with me and I'll show you why. The minute you walk through the majestic doors into Masani, you enter a Victorian period building which dates back to 1889. With high ceilings, stained glass windows, and a roaring open fire that is warm and inviting. Masani is a family-owned restaurant which opened back in 1983 by husband and wife team Luciano and Richard Massano. Let's now take a look at the culinary delights on offer and chat with head chef and co-founder Richard Massano. Now Richard, tell us about your menu and where do you get the influences from for all your fantastic food?
Yes, Paul, most of my influence coming from north of Italy and south of Italy. That's what I'm from.
Yep. And what have you prepared for us today?
Well, to begin with, this comes from north of Italy. This is a very traditional Venetian style of dish, where you've got the sepia, which is the cuttlefish, and we extract the ink out of the cuttlefish, and we blend it through a lovely taste and do the spaghettini, because you need a very fine pasta to come through, and of course the cuttlefish in winter time, they are at their best.
Yep. And what's the other entree there?
And the other entree, I prepared the cheese souffle with the Roquefort and the pear, and of course you've got the lovely dolciolata cheese through the actual souffle, which is really nice. And then for main course, Paul, we've got venison, which is from the Alps, as you know, and it's beautiful this time of the year. It's really, really nice, and thank God we can get it in Australia, because for quite some times earlier in the past it was extremely difficult. Now we can get it, and it's a wonderful cut of meat as such. And I'll prepare that with the juniper berries, which is a very gin. It's more of English sort of a style of spices. This is a wonderful stew casserole, and we've got some mussels, and I've got some snapper in there, and I've got some scampi, and it's just a stew fish. And then Paul, we've got some again, it's a Venetian influences dessert, and that's from Veneto, and they've got the nougat, which is made out of a chestnut, and we make a chestnut and brandy coulis with that, and we serve it with the actual chestnut.
Okay, we've got Cara, who's a sommelier here at Masani, and Cara's going to talk us through some of the wines from the wonderful wine selection you guys have, and what we should have with each of the meals.
Exactly. So we've got a very big wine range. We have a lot of boutique wines from Australian wineries, and they date back to 1981. And we've also got a fantastic collection of Italian wines. With the spaghettini, which is a Venetian dish, we've matched it up with a traditional Venetian Soave. So it's from the Venetian region. It's a beautiful, crisp, floral white wine, and it'll just match perfectly, because the black ink can be quite intense on the palate, and I think that goes really well. And that's from Pra. Into the next dish, which is the souffle, which highlights those lovely cheeses. We've matched it up with the Yarrabank creme de cuvee. So Yarrabank are some French people, I guess you could call them, that have set up in Melbourne in the Yarra Valley, and they're producing traditional French champagne style. The Badia Passignano is from the Antinori house. It is a sensational Chianti, so it is really rich. It has had quite a bit of aging, and it's just beautiful on the palate. The next one is the Caciucco alla Livornese, which is the seafood casserole. It would have to be Richard's Stella dish.
Yep.
It is a masani standout, and it goes fantastically well with white wine, but also with red wine. So the Prunotto, again, small boutique winery, and this is a Nebbiolo d'Alba. The last one is the Crespella, or the crepe. And I thought the best was a really rich Pedro Ximénez, which is a particular Spanish creamed sherry, and I thought that matched really well with the chestnuts.
Thank you so much for being on City Life.
That's my pleasure. Enjoy.
Will do.